Hello and welcome to Wednesdays with Willa. I am your host, Willa White, and this is my weekly podcast show that airs on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern on my Facebook page, Willa White Medium. Also goes out on my YouTube channel, which is your best place to watch all the archive videos of the show. This is year 9 of Wednesdays with Willa, so you've got lots of past episodes that you can watch and listen to wherever you get your podcasts. But for visual, you want to go jump on my Facebook page or YouTube channel. And it's fabulous. All the wonderful guests that I've had over the years. We've focused on topics relating to spiritualism, mediumship, healing, faith, family, and more. And today we have a special virtual tour of the office for the National Spiritualist Association of Churches. And you're in for a real treat, folks. I have today with me, I have with me JoAnn Santonocito, who is the Lilydale Assembly Board President and also the Secretary of the NSAC. That is the acronym for National Spiritualist Association of Churches. So she's here to help with this tour along with Havivah Richards. Hello, Havivah. You've been on the show before, and you're the Vice President of the National Spiritualist Association of Churches. And the two of them, these two beautiful ladies, are going to take us through this lovely building and share about the history of NSAC and the things that you can find when you visit here in Lilydale. Yep. And just to orient people, this is on Cottage Row.
13 Cottage Row, right towards the end of the road where the big parking lot is.
Yeah.
The big sign out front introducing everybody.
Yeah, people probably have seen the band gazebo, the old band gazebo that is next to the Maplewood Hotel. And just across the way, you'll see the NSAC building. It's a green building. I'll probably have a picture of this for people that want to see this. But we're going to detail this tour of this old building. Just so everybody understands, Lilydale was established in 1879. The National Spiritualist Association of Churches was established in 1893. Yep. And this building was put into service as the office of NSAC in...
It'd be 1993. When Sharon Snowman moved the office from literally Cassadaga, Florida, up here, because she's lived here, on the premises of Lilydale. House became available, so NSAC purchased it, and has been the office and now bookstore for NSAC.
Beautiful. Well, we're glad she did that. It makes it more accessible to everybody who's visiting Lilydale. So where would you like to take us first?
Well, we might as well, we're in the lobby, and might as well start off with our entranceway where we have a wall of honoring the Fox sisters and the Fox property. NSAC purchased the property in the 1990s. It was just vacant land, and we've done a lot of work out there. We, instead of building a new cottage on the foundation, we actually covered it and have put walkways in thanks to donations of people visiting and people just sending us donations for the property. So we have now walkways and benches and little garden places. So property is more than just the site of the Fox sisters. We've made it a park.
And I would refer people to the Fox Family series that I've been doing. Number 5 was done just a couple of weeks ago with Tracy Murphy, taker of the Hydesville property, and she's our expert, if you will, and she's a really lovely lady. So I would refer you back to that show, the Fox Family series, Fox Cottage, and we went into great detail about the cottage, the original one, then the replica, and what she does when you visit this particular property. So it's kind of exciting to have that history. Modern spiritualism is considered to have been born in 1848 in Hydesville, New York, which is not far from Rochester, New York, kind of centralized in New York State here in the United States. So yeah, this is great that this is a feature. So what should we mention next?
Get into the bookstore.
All right, bookstore. Bookstore this way.
Since Sharon Snowman in the 1993, it was just a little spot. And over the years, and actually the last 2 or 3 years, we have increased the bookstore to basically 2 full rooms of the building. And we have just about anything you need considering spiritualism. We try to find it, whether we can get it used, whether we can reprint it ourselves. We do produce a lot of books and pamphlets and all that right here in the office. So much, much more. We're always looking for new books and anything.
You're always trying to track down some of the old ones too, right?
So especially for the Morris Pratt Institute, a lot of the books that they required reading are no longer in print. So if they go back and the copyright is open and I could find
and you snag
quality,
it.
I snag it.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
It's a long process, but it's a process.
So you have everything from NSAC, travel mugs, keychains, those kind of books. But then up here, these are probably don't touch so much, but they're
right. That's why they're up high. These are actually our transcripts from every NSA or NSAC convention from 1893 to current day. We have literally right now up to about the 1980s has been digitized and are available for review for people who want to come in. We say off season because it gets a little bit hectic during season, but if you want to come into the office off season, set up an appointment. We have a lot of our periodicals, magazines, the Banner of Lights, the sunflower from Lilydale.
Right.
Anything that we could digitize, we have digitized and available for someone to sit in a computer and
the sunflowers are original newspaper here in Lilydale by William Bach, and it was out of the pagoda. He would sell that little red pagoda. He would sell that. And it looks like a popcorn machine.
Popcorn machine. We do have this running
get
during
your
the
popcorn.
season. Yeah. I tell you what, a lot of people come in here just for the popcorn or the smell of the popcorn, right? Keeps people in the building. So it's got a nice attachment last year, and it worked out well outside of, kernels and things all over the floor. It works out fine.
Yeah, that's the nature.
Who doesn't love popcorn, right? So yeah, this is the entire bookstore, and then we have 3 of the Bank Sister portraits, precipitated art
small,
portraits.
mediums, at large. That's that's fun.
This is a book about Buffalo, New York.
Yes, it is. And so we have all these lovely books that are here available in the NSAC bookstore, along with pamphlets that get put out on the nice little spinny rack. No, it doesn't spin?
It does.
It does spin. Almost. Not right now. It's been locked in place so that people don't spin it right now. But yes, this is great that you have this. Now,
everything from children's books, which is in this rack, to anything you could think of for spiritualism in the MPI books. It's here. We try. Even dowsing rods, the trumpets are for sale. Mm-hmm.
These are trumpets. If people want to know more about trumpet mediumship, I do have an archive video about trumpet mediumship with Neil Zapkowski, and that's a great opportunity for you to know what that's about, because it's too detailed for us to go into this particular show right now. Javi, did you want to explain about the Bank Sister portraits? So how about you get on over there and they can see you, and let's introduce the kitty cat.
This is Houdini. He came to me just before Christmas. Somebody found him and asked me if I would take him. So he's been an addition to the family here.
That's right. So Houdini. Hopefully he doesn't escape.
That's why his name is Houdini.
So these are the Bank Sister portraits. They're different from the Campbell brothers because the Bank Sisters, most of them have flowers of some sort that appears on them, and they are precipitated art, so there are no actual brush strokes with the precipitated art, and they change over time. So their clothing will change, their hair will change, their jewelry will change. The Bank Sisters actually came here during the summertime and rented out one of the houses here to actually stay. And so they did a lot of the precipitated arts for individuals that lived here or lived in other areas. So we were lucky enough to get these back, and they were donated back to the NSAC. So we take very, very good care of them and make sure that they are happy when they do this.
Yes, beautiful. I would again refer people back to an archive video of spirit precipitated paintings. that I've done with Ron Nagy, who's the historian of Lilydale. And, something that's always interesting to note, as Javi mentioned, there aren't any brushstrokes, but also the eyes have a lot of depth and character to them. And most of these kind of spirit precipitated paintings, when they've had analysis done, they have even been able to do some iridology.
Yes, and not a single one of them are the same. And also they have found when they're doing the analysis that some of the paint is of unknown source. So there's nothing actually of source known with the paints that have been used on these paintings.
So if you want to know more about that process, again, I refer you back to that other video because it's very detailed.
Well, it's extremely detailed. We could go for hours on these.
Exactly. But they're so beautiful. These maidens here are just gorgeous. So let's carry on into the Morris Pratt Institute room. And this, as you said earlier, is the books that people would need to read, purchase and read.
Yeah, most of the books on the spec shelf are anything that is in the reading for the Morris Pratt Institute. We even keep a list in case somebody comes in here and says, I'm on lesson 20 and I don't know what books. So we definitely keep a list so that people can take a gander and purchase. We also do used books. If I could find used books that are no longer in print, I try to keep a good stock of those too.
And for people who aren't familiar with what Morris Pratt Institute is,
the Morris Pratt Institute is the educational arm of the NSAC. It is a correspondence, 30-lesson correspondence course that people who want to become credentialed in NSAC are required to complete that course in order to test and get their credentials. But a lot of people outside of NSAC take the course because it is a good history of the religion of spiritualism. So
yes, and I think it's wonderful that this is a great resource for folks. Just to get people clear, there are other spiritualist churches and organizations, but NSAC is a real big one and has been working hard to preserve the history of spiritualism. And I think it's lovely that you have all of these great resources for people as they're wanting to study and grow.
Yeah, I mean, whatever we could find for people, we definitely find. That's a corner with some of our little pamphlet type books that we produce here. That's just a good sample. There's probably over 150 books that we do produce in-house.
Right, and this is all new material. This is not a used bookstore.
Right, this is all new material. We make these and print these right on demand. We also have the kids corner for the parents who have kids with them that want to gander in the bookstore. They can sit here and doodle while the parents are shopping, which has become a pretty good asset.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then this is where our computer is for people who want to go through any of our archives that we do have digitized. That has begun a big process probably about 5 years ago. We worked with Iron Mountain to get a lot of our stuff digitized. So we have people files from 1893 to about 2010 are now digitized. All of our magazines and newspapers from the 1800s to current time have been taken care of. Our convention transcripts up to 1980, and our TNS magazine, which began in 1919. It's been the longest continuing running historical spiritualist magazine. That has also been digitized up to like the 1970s. So,
and this has all been done by volunteers.
Volunteers,
lovingly give their
donations.
time.
Yep, yeah. It's mostly donations that have assisted us on the archive project. Someday we would like to get them online so that other people can definitely just tap in and
access them on the cloud.
Yes, but there's a process that goes with that takes a lot of time.
It sure does. Well, it's years and years of work, and also maintaining of records.
Yeah, you got to make sure that they're not encrypted. Make sure that nobody changes things.
And just to be clear, when people want to utilize this, they'll need to make an appointment or come in during open hours.
Yeah, we do prefer that they make an appointment so we can make sure that everything's accessible to them and they can see what they want.
It's a digital library right here at your fingertips.
Yeah, we work in tandem really with the museum here on Lilydale. Ryan Nagy, if he can't find information about people, he definitely calls me and says, gives me the name.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you just email NSAC secretary at nsac.org and give me a name, my grandmother, grandfather, whomever, relative, if you give me the name, the state, and something about them, I can definitely check our archives, and I've been shipping off PDFs on what I find.
Wow, you're probably getting a deluge of requests now.
That's okay. That's okay. We like it. And then again, if people find stuff, I've had them reciprocate and send me stuff that I've been adding to the files. So
right, so that you can
it's a
keep
two-way
building the
street.
history.
Yeah, we want to continue to if you don't preserve the history, it'll disappear. And
Exactly.
I've tried to, when working in the office and cleaning things up and moving things around, my whole goal was to make it a historical place for people to come and get an education, right?
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I know you have some other areas you're going to show us
we'll
today.
show you our boardroom. You might want to stop in the hallway to check out our quilt.
Ah, yes, on this beautiful staircase. I just think I love the two-tone wood that's going on here.
The house was actually built by Marion Skidmore, the original house.
Marion Skidmore was definitely a mover and shaker here in Lilydale. She is the reason why we have a library.
Yes.
And a lot of the women suffragettes that came here were under her wing.
Under her wing and stayed in this particular house.
Yeah, so this is great. What a lovely quilt. And you even have, for the Christian Scientists, Mary Baker Eddy and Edgar Casey, and we have Harry Edwards from England. A lot of great people.
We actually had a member of NSAC make probably for like 3 years, I think she made one quilt a year to auction off to raise money for NSAC. We actually have this one here, and actually the Lilydale office has one.
Nice. Did you want to take us up the stairs so you can introduce him?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go introduce a significant person to the history of NSAC. We're heading up the stairs, folks. Oh, there you go. They're the Fox sisters right
That's
there.
a precipitated art of the Fox sisters.
Do you know when that was done, by any chance?
I do not.
That was done in the early 1900s, I think. I honestly don't have the exact dates on that.
We don't know the artist then either at this point. Well, maybe someone will have some interesting information to share. And do we know who she is? I can't see her well.
No, I do not off the top of my head.
Well, if anybody knows, write us in the comment. And then we have Abraham Lincoln, very recognizable face.
Yeah.
And now here we come to this beautiful
is Herbert Schneider, and the Schneider family started an endowment for NSAC probably in the 1950s, and it's been a great endowment for the organization to promote spiritualism and use to assist the organization. He's one of our greatest donors, the family.
And so his name is?
His name is Herbert, and
Herbert
Hilda
Schneider.
was his daughter who
Hilda's
made the
his daughter.
painting.
Okay. Do we know what rank and everything he was?
I do not. No.
True religion and true democracy are wholly dependent upon freedom of choice. Without it, what is it? Verity cannot exist in fact, but only in name. Verity is truth. That's the Latin derivative. Nice.
So the rest of the upstairs is pretty much archive offices and buildings and storage. That is one thing I haven't gotten to totally organized yet. But,
You've been busy.
It's a work in progress.
Yes, indeed. Oh, did we talk about this gentleman? I can't.
That is
George
the
White.
first president of NSAC. I don't know who did the oil painting, but actually Ron Nagy found it in the museum and said it would be better fit here at NSAC than in the museum, so we're housing it for him.
Nice. And if anybody's curious about all the sunflowers you were seeing, that is a symbol of spiritualism and has been since 1929, I want to say. It's been the symbol of spiritualism.
Yeah, the motto. Right?
Yes, definitely. As the sun flower turns its face to the sun, so spiritualism also turns people to the light of truth.
So this is our boardroom, educational room, war room, whatever you want to call it. We have
Depending on the day.
Depending on the day. But groups meet here, and this is where the NSAC board holds their spring board meeting now. And then here's our wall of all of our presidents throughout the year of NSAC.
We have Harrison Barrett as the first person. There's George again. We have Joe Merrill.
Yeah, Joe Merrill was also the president of Lilydale Assembly for quite some years.
Oh, there's Lila Cutler.
Lila Cutler just passed away.
November?
Such a sweetheart.
Yeah.
All right, so then we also have Cozy Allen, who is the current president of NSAC.
Yep.
And there she is. All right, so where should we go next? We'll head to the gentleman over here in the corner. We got a
These are
wonderful
all
group.
the gentlemen that I found good pictures of that, helped spiritualism along the way. So, Dee Dee Holmes, very well known, William Stanton Moses, Peebles, who wrote a lot of books. I mean, you got them all.
Are you able to go over and point and say their names? Because I think that would be great for people. Because then they'll
in
have
the
a
corner is Dee Dee Holmes.
All right. And he was an amazing physical medium.
Physical mediumship, did a lot of levitation, right? Then you got James Peebles, who was really a forerunner in getting the religion to be a religion.
Wonderful writings and lecture.
Yeah, lots. And you have Andrew Jackson Davis, who was never really considered himself a spiritualist, but did an awful lot for the religion of spiritualism.
He's considered the John the Baptist of spiritualism.
Yep.
Also known as the Poughkeepsie Seer. And he wrote The Magic Staff and
tons of books in trance that are very difficult to read and understand. But
that's right.
And
Emmanuel Swedenborg was one of his guides.
Yep.
So lovely.
Hudson Tuttle, who also was a good spiritualist who wrote a lot of books. Some of the books are actually on the MPI
And they should
list.
be. It's good stuff. Yeah.
And then Judge Edmonds, who did a lot for the history and pushing the religion forward in the day.
Yes, and also as part of some scientific, the psychic inquiry of these things. Yeah, the study of it.
William Stanton Moses, who was a forefront person and
phenomenal books and teachers and speaker.
Yes. And then we have...
you can't forget Sir Conan Doyle.
That's right. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the author of the Sherlock Holmes stories, but also he wrote the big thick book, The History of Spiritualism, which I honestly think is worth a read, and I've suggested that on the show before.
Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Yes, right. That's why it's a big thick one.
Under the clock, we have a picture of Sharon Snowman, who got the building here in Lilydale and moved the office from Cassadaga, Florida up here. That little picture above her is her when she got ordained. That picture, when I got here in 2019 as the NSAC secretary, I found that picture on the floor and stuffed it in a box and put it upstairs in the archives. And every time I turned around, that picture would reappear, and we would find it again on the floor. Since I've put it up here or in this room, and this was her office originally, it has stayed. So I don't mess with her little picture.
No, you do not.
Nope.
She's a force to be reckoned with, for sure. This is the wall of ladies.
So we have Mercy Caldwaller. She was definitely a forerunner in spiritualism.
And she is actually responsible for a lot of things. I believe the Lyceum was built under her donation.
Yes.
And also she helped and was instrumental with the Hydesville Park Memorial.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, so she was a fascinating woman.
And she had the money to do it.
We have Emma Harding Britton, who was a magnificent speaker and very strong for her time to go all across the United States with no escort and take a stand, and no matter what was, threatened against her, she continued doing spiritualism and taking that step and having a voice. So,
which is very essential. And she also provided the first principles
of the NSAC,
NSAC, the first principles of spiritualism.
Spiritualism.
Yeah.
And what made spiritualism basically
because of her, that's why we are incorporated, right? That's why we have the religion of spiritualism, is because of those principles, those first few principles.
Yes, very necessary to protect and preserve the religion, philosophy, and science of spiritualism. Yes.
And we have Marjorie Crandon, and
physical medium.
Physical medium.
With some questionable things, but she was very studied.
Yes.
By the. I'm laughing because over the years, when you hear things about her, it's just, oh my goodness, what did Marjorie do? So,
again, most of these women, they took a step forward and didn't care what anybody had to say. They just did it.
Yeah,
so,
and a lot of the physical mediumship she did, there was ectoplasm, and it was very studied by those who are interested in psychic phenomenon.
Yep. Yeah. We have Cora Scott Richmond, again, forerunner in spiritualism, and she
helped start the organization. They wanted to make her the president, but she didn't want that position.
And she was a speaker.
She was a speaker. She loved speaking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and she could do inspirational lectures. Back in the day, people they could do that. They could just off the cuff give them a spiritual topic, and they'd practically go into a light trance and be able to deliver on the spot.
Of course, on the top we have Margaret Maggie Fox, and Catherine Katie Fox is down below her. So those are the Fox sisters that kept
made the communication with the peddler, with the
Charles B. Rosna.
Yeah.
That's right. The wrappings. And then we have Elizabeth Cady Stanton, who...
She's a woman suffragette, and she's someone who really helped with the whole women's suffrage movement, and certainly some people do say that she actually did more equal to Susan B. Anthony.
Yeah.
And she did visit here in Lilydale.
Yes, she did.
That is something that we can be proud of, and had the connections locally. This was quite a hotbed of women's suffrage.
Right.
Lilydale.
You got the women's suffrage and you got spiritualism, and they literally came together for a common bond.
Yeah.
And really moved both the religion and the suffrage movement forward. I don't think if you had both tied together, you never know.
You never know, but Radical Spirits is a book written by Anne Brody, and it's wonderful. It gives you the whole understanding of how that merged.
It's a wonderful book to read.
If anybody wants more information about that. So that's the ladies' corner. And then I know you've got things on either side of this wall here. So first we'll start with...
This is literally a trance drawing. This was done in trance, about almost 4 hours worth of somebody sitting there in trance doing this pencil art. And basically, when it was finished, it was considered to be Andrew Jackson Davis's spirit guide. And in the background, you could see Andrew Jackson Davis.
So, is that do we know which one that guide that was? Is this supposed to be Swedenborg? I always thought Swedenborg didn't have a beard, so that's why I'm thinking it's someone else. Yeah, it must be another guide that was significant. So Andrew Jackson Davis, the seer, realized the guardianship of the spirit as his angel father. The face in the background is intended as a reminder of our loved Dr. Davis.
And then behind this door, I believe it's the same trance gentleman, Louis Jones, although they spelled the name differently on both pictures. I'm not really sure. But this is what he considered, again, done in about 5 hours in trance. This would be Andrew Jackson Davis's Spatna in the Summerland. In
Oh,
the ethers.
right,
That would be,
right.
That would be what he...
And that's what he called it. It's his version of, spiritualist version of heaven, as it were. Everybody gets a mansion. You get a mansion, and you get a mansion. But you can see the angels. I don't know if you're able to point up there. You're JoAnn's a shorty. But she's going to point out the angels for us that are in that photo. Thank you.
And then the cane.
Hold on a second. Yep. So this was produced by Louise Jones of Bangor, Maine, under the guidance of Joseph John in trance condition. And as you said, 5 hours. And this is supposed to be his higher life. And, Andrew Jackson Davis is really kind of a fascinating thing because he'd been so much in the news and he'd done so much in terms of the harmonious philosophy and writing the books. But then, do you know, he actually spent his remaining days as a clerk in a bookstore.
Yeah, he became a doctor, right?
He did, but I'm talking about later on.
Yeah,
he just was kind of like, I just love books. I'm going to be around books. And that's how he spent the remaining years of his life. I think he wasn't really wanting to be in the public life at that point. So then now you wanted to talk about the walking stick.
The walking stick. This walking stick came to us, I'm not really sure how, but it was actually General Andrew Jackson, a.k.a. former president of the United States.
Stonewall Jackson.
His walking stick, I don't know when it was handed down or how it was handed down, but it was actually handed down to Andrew Jackson Davis.
Which seems kind of amazing because, back then people did, name their children after presidents, which is how Andrew Jackson Davis got his name from the president. But it's just amazing to me that this would have gotten handed down. And it's about a 3-foot stick that's there.
And then the emblem on it literally says...
Oh, there's an emblem?
Yeah.
Where's that emblem? Oh boy, let's see if it might pick up. What does that say? Everybody get your readers
put my
out.
Glasses on. Yeah. This cane was the property of General Andrew Jackson.
All right, so whether he handed it to himself or it just came to Davis later, no matter what, it's kind of cool.
Here, and it's kind of cool how it was handed down.
Absolutely. The cat is having a grand time. Let's see, I know you have a couple more things you wanted to share with us too, right?
Yeah, my office, like I said, I try to make this place historical as best I can. This is actually a flyer that was put out by the Spriggs, who again were very good missionaries on the religion of spiritualism. They traveled all over the world. They actually owned a home here in Lilydale. And this is how they promoted spiritualism. They would hold meetings to discuss the phenomenon, the philosophy of modern spiritualism.
And it says right there that they're mediums and that they will give clairvoyant descriptions, spirit messages, and they could be even tested in that way. And it says, materialist, infidel, agnostic, and Christian alike will be interested and will find but little to criticize. Come and hear the truth. Isn't that great?
And they were meeting in Jamestown, so that's just kind of like hometown.
There is a street in Jamestown that is Sprague. So I wonder if that's where they used to live.
Maybe. And then this is my wall of healers.
Wall of healers. Here we come.
Starting with Swedenborg, right?
Yes, he's bewigged. He's wearing his wig of many curls. So he was a Swedish scientist, a polymath, an engineer. And he worked for the King of Sweden, because that's where he lived. But, he's amazing. In the mid-50s, he decided, I'm going to research into the world of spirit world. Yeah.
And he did.
One of my favorite people. Yeah, and so then we have
Mary Baker Eddy.
Mm-hmm. She's a Christian Scientist.
Again, did a lot for healing and spiritualism in that realm.
She actually was taken in by spiritualists when she was hurt. She hurt her back in a really bad way, and she was taken in, by spiritualists at the time, and then found her healing. And so a lot of her teachings actually stem from spiritualism, if you start looking into it, and the history of it. Yes.
And Sir Oliver Lodge.
Yes.
Another great man who promoted spiritualism and studied the
phenomenon. He was one of the psychic investigators, and so he did a lot in that realm of bringing that forward. And he also brought a lot of credibility to what was happening here. So shall we do these?
Go back up to George Chapman, who most people don't know too much about him, but him in the early mid-1900s really promoted the healing aspect and the healing energies of spiritualism. Did a lot of studies and was a great healer. And Edgar Casey, you can't not have him on a wall of healing.
That's for sure. He was the sleeping prophet, and he has the Edgar Casey Institute that's in Virginia Beach, Virginia still, and people would write into him, and they'd say, "Hey, I'm having something wrong with me in this way." He was an amazing medical intuitive. He'd go into trance, and he would be able to, diagnose and give prescription at the time.
Figure it out, right?
Yeah, whew. And he doesn't know these people from Adam, but then they would write in and say that it was successful. And he'd actually say, "This is where you can find it, in your store."
Wow.
He's very exact.
And then again, Harry Edwards, right? More up to date, more modern healer. You have the Harry Edwards Institute, and he came from England, but he was another great writer on the topic of healing
and also mediumship. And he was a person who also, along with Davis, said that you need to have an even mind in order to be good at doing mediumship. That's really an essential part. But there are so many healing centers, Harry Edward healing centers over in England now. It's amazing. I'm glad they got a picture of him with his amazing hands.
It took me a while to find. Took me a while. And then the center one, I think, is the coolest thing. This is Dr. George, who became a registered healer with NSAC, and after he did, was immediately arrested. And these are some of his letters from jail, asking for help from the NSA at the time to get him out of the trouble he was in. So these are his letters I found upstairs in the archives that I thought were just
amazing. This is to inform you that on the 3rd, at this place, I was placed under arrest by the 3 doctors for practicing the art of healing in violation of the statute of some such place. No doubt you have the statutes at hand. You're able to learn the nature of this. It's most unjust. And, so there must have been laws on the books that he was put in jail for going against. And look, you can see it. Look at that. Jail. So, oh my goodness. Can you imagine being jailed? Which is why it's important for us to have and maintain the religion so that we can be protected in that particular way. Because this is our sacred connection with the divine. It should be protected and not be subject to these kind of whims of man.
Right? Yeah. And still even today. I mean, if you go to some of the states down south, you can't do mediumship. You can't call it this. You can't call it that, So yeah, we're still protecting the rights of...
He's trying to get a bond. Aw. I'm reading this, I'm going, the poor guy.
Right? He went through a lot.
He went through a lot. And this is just an example of one person, because there were others that had this significantly occur. And, I think people need to understand that that's part of the history. We're standing on the shoulders of those who have gone before us. And because of what they were willing to put up with and deal with and be strong with, we are able to do what we do here.
I mean, if you think about it, these are our pioneers.
Absolutely.
We are the pioneers of the future. Which one is going to stand up and protect our rights, right? You never know. So
that's right. Oh, I think
we
it's
have to keep
wonderful.
promoting spiritualism for sure.
For sure. Are there any last things that you'd like to share with folks today?
I don't think so. I think that's
We covered a
that's
lot of
pretty much-
ground.
We did cover a lot of ground. There's a lot here to see, and the front porch in the summertime is always open for guests to sit and ponder and eat popcorn.
Come visit us, ask questions. We'll be more than happy to answer anything that you have questions on, and if we don't have the answers, we'll find it for you.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you letting us have this virtual tour today on Wednesdays with Willa. We're so grateful for those of you who, not just here at NSAC, but anywhere, preserving the history of spiritualism. It is a treasure, and we must cherish it. And I'm so glad that people will be able to look back at this video and understand some more of the pioneers and what goes into building and maintaining what we're doing here. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in today. Make sure you listen wherever you can get podcasts. And it's on Apple and Spotify now, not just Facebook and YouTube. And tune in next week for another great show of Wednesdays with Willa. All right, everyone.